Hey, it's James Murray. We're in the Net News Ledger studio as part of our ongoing coverage of the Nishnawbe-Aski Nation election, which is coming up on August the 12th. In the studio today is Darius Ferris, who is running for Deputy Grand Chief. Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So, for our viewers and readers, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Darius Ferris, and I'm from Constance Lake First Nation, and I'm a re-elected council in my community for the past 3 terms, and I'm also the president for Matau Tribal Council Board of Directors, and I'm also active at the KCATS level as the vice president for KCATS.
So you got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
So running for Deputy Grand Chief for NAN, what are the areas that you would like to see some serious focus on in your campaign platform?
Well, one of the things that I'm strong with right now as a leader back in my community is child welfare, and also keeping our community strong, which also is with other communities. Child and welfare was one of my biggest platforms in council because of my concern with children and families and so forth, and also enforcing the act where First Nations should have our own child and welfare services within our community instead of depending on the outside system.
Well, the children are the future.
Yep.
And I'm sure through Net News Ledger, we've covered some of the RFADA, Ring of Fire Aboriginal Training Alliance programs. We've covered the graduation ceremonies. The youth have a hunger for the future.
Yes, they do. Yeah, they do. The youth nowadays, it's different from compared to years ago, 40 years ago or so. Times have changed. The system is today. You need a good education to have good jobs or a career, and so forth. And then that's why KCATS is working hard at helping our young people to graduate and become young people that want to do different trades, trade skills. So that this is where KCATS comes in as a body to help our young people. And we've had a lot of graduates like this year and the year before, and it just keeps growing. And they're looking towards the future. They want to have something to look forward to in life. And that's where I believe strong leadership comes in. And we have to start understanding and accepting our young people and what they want, what they're looking for, and what they request with their leadership or their elders of their community. We can't stay and stick with the old. We got to move forward with the world. The world is changing.
Yes.
And First Nations got to move on with it as well in our own communities.
Now, as you build strong youth, you're probably then putting down the firm base for strong communities.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what we need to do is build a strong foundation for our young people. It starts off in the community, before they explore the world and leave their community. We have to build them up and give them that confidence that you can do it, kind of thing. We have to encourage them to success only happens if you put your heart and soul and your mind to it and make it happen and fulfill those dreams, because young people have a future. In order for them to get to the future and fulfill that starts with their education. Now, education is very, very important today. Very important. It's a must. It's a need.
And some of the issues that seem to come up, you get young people coming down to Thunder Bay for high school or to Dryden or Kenora, and in some cases don't seem to be as ready as, say, the kid coming from a school in the city. And that makes it hard on the youth. And so it's a real focus. Education is so important.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's, I think NAN has a program where they equip the youth before they leave their communities. You know, they give them some kind of a course in what to expect when they move to an urban setting from a community. But to me, that's not enough. I believe that when the kids, young people, students come from the north, it should be carried on here within the schools, or in the cities, say for example Thunder Bay or Geraldton or Sudbury or Winnipeg, wherever the kids go to school. They should always be reminded the importance of the changes, what happens in the city, you know, the urban settings, and how to deal with issues, how to deal with the changes in their lives as they come into a city setting from from a community, you know, and that has to be an ongoing training to these young people. You know, we just can't teach them in our community and expect them to remember all that, and it has to be an ongoing thing at the schools. You know, the education committee or whoever is looking after these things has to reassure that these students are looked after when it comes to change. You know, when it comes to different settings, for example, in the cities, and we must continue teaching them. You know, reminding them, you know, what to expect, what not to expect. You know, and how to live and react within the cities, and that's why a lot of our young people struggle. You know, as far as education goes, their heart and soul is in it. They want education. They're hungry for it. But that's where they fail, is when they face these challenges outside of school, after school hours, and so forth. You know, they're offered things such as drinking and partying and drugs and so forth, and that's where we have to educate them daily, on a daily basis, not just once a year before they start off school. You know, it should become a mandate where we have to teach them and remind them every month while they're here in school.
Growing up, my parents always kept me busy. I was so busy with different activities and different things going on, I didn't have time for other stuff. And maybe, you know, some of that from the kids, because they're always busy doing something. You know, and they'll find something to do if you don't give them something to do. So it's a lot of work. What's your plans as you move forward to August the 12th in terms of the campaign? What are you planning to do?
Well, I plan to do a lot of traveling, campaign with different communities and tribal councils, and to reassure leadership that myself as a leader of my own community, what my concerns are and what my objectives are, and also how to move forward in society today, because it takes people with leadership roles, with skills and with experience to move forward. You know, to move forward in our lives, and this is where I come in. You know, to try to help our First Nations communities, and you know, to tell the people out there that anything's possible when you put your mind to it. You know, you can make a difference. You can make a change, whether it's in the community, in the First Nation community, or outside the community. You know, that we can adapt to it. Not only adapt, but also live our lives as normal as anybody else. You know, out here and out there, and if things are challenging, you know, for a lot of us First Nations people, there's always ways to beat the system. There's always ways to educate our people and help them along the way. And that's where I'd like to come in and help our leadership, our chiefs, our councils, you know, our people. And if elected as a deputy grand chief, I'd like to take that step forward in a different direction, or even in a new direction with a new vision, and help our communities, keeping our communities strong and our people.
Darius, thank you so much for coming in. Miigwech.
Thank you. It's an honor being here.
This is James with Net News Ledger. We're in the Net News Ledger studio with Darius Ferris, who is running in the Nishnawbe-Aski Nation election.